All right, welcome into the Wasted Mind podcast, where your opinions and dreams go to die, at least for today. Start out with the host, the OG, Olden Grody. What up, Jeff?
Not much, bro. Chilling here. What's going on with you?
Same thing. All right, Saltine. What up, Ramsey?
What's up, brother?
Sexless in the
Doing
city.
good.
What's up, Luke?
What's going on, X?
The not so little ant. How you doing, man?
What's up, man?
And Baby J. What's going on, Jalen?
What's up?
And your boy X, of course. So, Jeff, tell me something. Tell me something interesting off the cuff that's happened in your life since the last podcast. Go.
Had a conversation with an interesting friend about some childhood experiences, man. Kind of shed some light on some things that were going on with me internally and some things that still are processing that I'm trying to outgrow. And I think it's amazing how things that happened 30 years ago can still impact your life now today. Even small things kind of show up periodically through the things that you do and the decision that you made. But my friend helped me sort through it a bit, man, and I appreciate it.
Okay.
Mm. All right, so Ant, take it over.
My week was pretty interesting. I had to make decisions, as far as life and financial. So, it's just stressful when you think about, decisions that would matter in the future. So it's been on my mind, but hopefully I can get it all put together and not be so scattered in my brain. But yeah, it's some life decisions, but I talk it over, with my wife, and we, can handle anything that come our way. But it's a little stressful thinking of financial things in the future, but it's getting there.
You want to go ahead and start out with the questions?
Yeah. Okay. 5 rapid questions. My first question is, speaking of yourself or other, can they be friends with the opposite of sex, in your opinion?
Realistically, I mean, in this where I am now in my life, probably. But 5 years ago, no. Nope. If you're single, it's almost impossible to have a real friendship with the opposite sex, in my opinion.
Okay.
Because one of you is always going to want something extra, and then when it happens,
Hey, Jeff, what you think?
Wow, man, you put me right on the spot. I was trying to marinate a little bit. I'm trying to censor everything out. I think yes. The answer to that question is yes for me, because I know my boundaries, even if the person that I'm around doesn't know their boundaries. There's things that I won't do, and that's just how I've always lived my life. Now, my significant other might not believe that to be true, but I know myself. Today, now, tomorrow, Jeff, might be a different story.
What are you about to look? What do you think?
What do I think? Well, I think it depends on how that friendship originally forms. Like, if it forms in a normal way, like any other friendship would form, I guess it could be, but I don't know. There's always the potential to see someone in that light, if you're both attracted to the opposite sex. So, it's up in the air. Every situation is different, but, being mature adults, I say, yeah, you can be friends with the opposite sex.
Okay, that's a yeah for you. What about you, Ramsey?
Yeah, I say yeah too, because you got to have trust in your partner, and I mean, I think you should be able to.
Okay. What about you, Jalen?
I think you should, but I think it refers to a thing like temptation is a strong thing, and I think it's sort of everyone knows their limits, but it's preventing yourself from getting into a situation where you're tempted. And I think that's the biggest thing, is just staying out of those situations. So yes, it's possible, but don't let yourself be put in. Like, I don't think you should let yourself get in that situation where someone can make the assumption that you're doing something.
What
Okay.
do those situations look like? I'm curious. We talking about lunch outside? We talking about me coming over helping with homework? What we talking about?
Talking about. All right.
If you need me to help you move your treasure drawer around, let me, what we talking about here?
All right. So let's say you riding around, you got a friend, well, and she's at her house, right? And she's like, all right. She said, I'm working on this project and I need some help with this project, right? And she's like, can you come over to my house and help me finish this project? So you can wanting.
Okay, I got you, fam. I see what you're saying.
So you're like, you can go to her house and help with the project, but everyone who knows you're going there, they're gonna be like, so you just went to do the project, right? Right. And I'm like, okay.
It's
I
an equal
understood
photo
that
space.
assignment.
Yeah.
So no Netflix. Got it.
Yeah.
All right. We will move on to the next question. Next question is, do y'all believe in a 50-50 relationship?
I mean, you can't paint it that black and white, I think, because there's always going to be give and take in a relationship. There's always going to be somebody doing more than the other one at certain points, but I mean, that switches back and forth. So at the end of the day, yeah, it's 50-50, but it's not a solid straight down the middle. That's just impossible.
I think it's based on what each person's good at in a relationship. Like you couldn't expect me to be a comforter if I'm an asshole like Jeff. I mean, you just can't. So I think like Brandon said, it's real. It depends on the people 100%, but
Just remember, I don't need an asshole to live.
Well, what's the asshole thing? Now that you're on the spot.
Well, I was talking about the physical attribute of having a way to relieve yourself of waste, but no, I mean, you need somebody to contrast your views, to keep you sharp, to keep you moving. Like the catfish scenario where the catfish kept the fish agile in the barrel so they stayed alive and didn't suffer from atrophy.
Wait, hold up. What?
Exactly, my man.
Is that the word of the day? Atrophy?
Atrophy.
All right. What about you, Luke?
What happens to your game when you don't talk to nobody in a while?
Whether the way. I believe, I mean, 50-50 is nice, but I believe in 100% utility, like it's like it's 100% overall. I don't believe in, you do your half, I do my half. I believe I come in at 80% some days, you have 20%. As long as you make up the difference and we all get to 100%, I think that's what it's about. I don't believe 50-50 is like a real thing, because you're not actually sitting there trying to divide stuff up with someone you care about. Like, all right, this is your part. It's, you fill in when you can.
I agree with that too, because if we start adding numbers to it, man, we start keeping the score. And when we start keeping the score, we want to start charging a fee for those who don't stand up to their 50%.
Right. That can get bad.
All right, Jalen, what you think?
I agree. See, I don't think you can really try to put it on other people like you're saying, because you start like you said, keep tallies, and then you might start getting resentment if they don't do something. So now you're upset, like they're not doing this for me, even though I've been doing all this. And you're like,
That's the way it starts.
Yeah, cause some problems later. I think so.
Okay. All right. Next question is, if you're going on a date, do you pay for it?
If I ask the girl, absolutely. If she asks me, yes.
Why don't we ask the single ones?
Now, if it's me and my wife right now, yes, I pay.
Yeah.
What about you, Luke?
Me personally, all right, so I'm gonna pay for the date. Like, depends on the kind of date. Are we talking about Netflix and chill? Because she got to pay for that because protection's on her. But if we going out somewhere, you know, I can I can
Did you just say
afford.
protections on her?
What? I got Plan B money, but you know, I'm just saying. But we go out and stuff. I mean, it's normally me. I'm gonna pay for it because you know it's that's kind of my lane. You know, like the guys, that's kind of your lane. You get to show off a little bit, show how much money you can spend on her, and still be able to pay your bills. You know, I don't mind just pay for the dates. I feel like that's the normal thing to do.
I imagine you having money on the dresser time. It's like, yo, take the money. Whatever you don't use, you just keep the change.
Sure, yeah. Hey,
I mean, certain situations calls for certain things, you know.
You kind of hit it on the head there. How much money can I spend and still pay my bills?
Zero.
All right.
Yeah,
Hey,
you
what
gotta
you
know
think?
your limit.
yeah, that's a slippery slope.
I mean, yeah, I always paid, but just a product of my raising, I suppose. But I mean, I haven't dated in like 10 years, probably. Well, no, like 8 years.
You don't take your
So-
wife out on dates?
Ooh.
Joint bank accounts,
Oh,
so it's the best way to do it.
What does that have to do with taking your wife out on a date?
If we're talking about paying for the date, then obviously, yeah, I'm paying for it, but it comes out of the same
Okay.
account of her card, so it doesn't matter who pays for it anymore.
Oh.
Good try.
I mean, you know about the bra money, right? So she can actually pull the money out of there and pay for it. It's a secret stash always.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
They got a whole change person there.
So many places to hide things. Not just one.
Sure.
So, what,
Every time I get
did you give yours? Your answer?
I did.
Okay.
I gave it to X, so I agree with his statement.
Okay. All right.
My
Next question.
statement.
Go ahead. What you say?
I said, you agree with my statement, Jeff?
I
Sure.
do not publicly agree with your statement.
Come
I probably
on,
just
give him
myself.
approval.
All right.
Thanks on
All right.
you.
Next question. Zodiacs. Do y'all believe in zodiacs?
All right.
He does.
So I don't believe in zodiac, but it tells you good. It's that's a red flag for me. When the girls are talking to me about zodiac signs, it means one or two things, and it normally means she's a little psychotic and she's a little fun at the same time. You know what I mean? But hey, zodiac signs are kind of real, I guess.
It's BS, man. It doesn't matter when you're born. You're going to be who you're going to be. My wife, Meg, says the same stuff about, oh, I'm a Cancer, and apparently I'm a Gemini, which means I have split personalities and whatever. I'm like, yeah, okay. You're not the same person or have the same exact attributes as people born near you. Because my uncle is born, like, we're 10 days apart on our birthdays, right? We're nothing alike at all. No mannerisms, none of that stuff. Mannerisms.
That's a good word.
But yeah, zodiac's
Number 2 today.
BS. Hey, I should just let it go.
All right, Jalen, what you think?
Look, I agree. I don't look at them, but look, they make you feel good though. If anyone's ever read yours, you're like, yeah, he said that looks nice right there. He said they telling me good person, you know what to do. He said, yeah. So I think it's just a generalization, really, because everyone has all the attributes. It's just some are stronger than others. So it's not really real.
All right, Ramsey, what you think?
I think it's a load of crap. I think it's all just a big broad stroke, like they were saying. So
I believe in the halo effect. I think that if you really into a girl and she starts talking about zodiac signs, I think you're going to be really into zodiac signs as well, at least for a couple of minutes.
Mm.
Did we really govern our life by like a Bible of some ancient text? Of course not, man. If that was true, I go play the lottery every time the horoscopes told me to.
Hey, they even give you the numbers, I hear.
Yeah. That's why everybody's rich, I think.
Or is that fortune cookies? Forget.
You're right.
Yeah, fortune cookies. All right, last question. What is, in your opinion, a toxic trait from a girl?
Gold digger. Materialistic. But not like, I want nice things. Like asking like, what are you going to buy me? Or like, what am I getting this week? Stuff like that. What are you getting yourself?
Easy killer.
Oh,
Man, I feel so bad for Meg. Damn.
No. I'll buy stuff, right? But I'm not going to spend.
You can't take it back.
Not every week.
Ain't all right. You better enjoy it today because tomorrow it's gone.
Yeah.
You better not spend nothing on that dress.
I mean, unlike Luke, I guess I'll buy protection every week. You know what I'm saying?
That's on Donda.
Wait, don't you have a kid on the way?
Shut up.
Oh.
Alcohol
What about you,
happens.
What about you, Luke? What you think?
Oh, I was doing some deep thinking on that one because I've been talking to a couple of different people, and they all exhibit this same trait. It's when they
They like you.
He doesn't. But it's when they're indecisive. I don't like the indecisiveness of it. Like they ask you to do something, but then they're like, only if you feel like it or something like this. It's like, all right, well, I don't really feel like doing anything, but if you, I don't like them being indecisive.
That's almost all of them, right?
All right, Jalen, what you think? What do you think, Jalen?
I don't really have one off the top of the dome, so hands are up. I can't.
All right,
Just
Ramsey, what
take
you
mine.
I keep going back to materialistic, but I don't know. I that's the only thing that keeps sticking in my brain right now.
Tell you what, guys, I'll give you a cheat code real quick. If you're ever texting a girl and they use a lot of extra letters in the text, like a lot of AEs, a lot of exclamation points, a lot of emojis, red flag, run. They're crazy and possessive and angry and anxious. So leave.
So they spend the letters like they're gonna spend your money, is what you're saying.
Right. Yes. Oh, bro. These letters, man.
All right. Those are the 5 rapid questions. I can go ahead and get into my topic since I'm on the floor.
Yeah, go ahead, kick it off.
I think you just left the chat.
I don't even know how that happened, man.
That's quick, man.
All right. So
All right, so we got the Metaverse challenge. Did everyone see that? Did they look at the video in the chat?
I did.
Okay.
Sign me up.
Basically, it was going through where this woman did this 24-hour challenge of going on virtual reality using VR, and it was kind of like a demo going into what the metaverse would be like. So she did it, and I was looking through it, and she went through like job meetings, and she said she didn't ever, put the VR headset down until like a few times to eat or use the bathroom, whatever, or sleep. But very interesting to me because the reason why I looked up this topic was because my son, he was like, do you think you can do a VR challenge like for 24 hours? And I was like, let me check this out because when you really think about it, it is going to what the metaverse will be like. So my question to you guys, would y'all do this challenge just to see what it will be like? Or would this interest you in any way, or you would, run away from it?
I don't know if I would really want to do it. I think it's a good idea, and it'd be a lot of fun, like to begin with. But I don't know, me being the old man I am now, I guess my eyes. I don't know if my eyes and my brain can handle being with the Oculus on my face for 24 hours.
I don't know, man. It seems kind of boring after a while. Because I mean, I fully believe that sooner or later, like you're going to be going and taking real life job interviews on these. I can see a world where that happens, especially with like, I mean, you look at this pandemic and how it's shaped and shifted everything. But for 24 hours, I mean, I love playing video games, but you know, I play for a few hours and I'm like, all right, I need to go do something else. It doesn't seem worth it.
I mean, how much money am I getting to keep this on? I mean, this is a challenge. What am I getting?
So what? Say there is money into it. Would you
all
do
day,
it?
man? All day. I'm
Yeah.
plugged in.
Put me in too.
What you want me to read?
Me and Luke's going on an adventure.
Yeah, man, for sure.
So only if there's money, you're saying? Only if there's money that you'll do it. Is that what you're saying?
I'll do it for the fun of it, just to see the experience, man. I mean, who knows? Maybe I can be like GTA in real life and run those pockets. You know?
3 years from now, we'll be doing this podcast from the metaverse.
Yeah.
There'll be avatars of us in some room, and people can just walk in and watch the broadcast, man, rebroadcast, man. But, anybody have a VR headset?
I was thinking about getting one for the kids.
I have a cheap one.
Motion sickness is a real thing with those, especially if you got a lot of movement, like locomotion. Your body's geared up to have locomotion to offset the inner ear. And if you don't have that movement and your eyes are expecting a certain vibration, it makes you sick. And if you don't do something to discount it, then every time you get into your VR headset, you'll get sick just from putting it on. So that is a real.
There was the one that we have. We did the roller coaster game on it, and like 10 seconds in, I had to take it off because, like he said, I wanted to puke.
Yep.
So I felt like my eyes were rolling the back of my head whenever the coaster would go down and come back up. It was really bad.
Vertigo.
Wow.
Yeah, older generations won't be able to adapt to it, but some of the kids that grow up with it, they won't have a problem.
Sure, man.
I just think with VR headsets, they're just not there yet. I'm waiting for them to take that next step.
Implants, right?
Something.
Wow.
Jump right into the matrix. I'm ready.
It goes right in your eyeball.
I want it to be like the video game, man. I go to sleep, log into the game. Let's go.
Wow.
Yeah, it's out there now. It's going. It's in the testing right now. Give it a couple years. Yeah, it's in the testing.
People are going to be hacking your dreams. It's going to be awesome.
It will be awesome.
You've got malware. You've got a virus.
Makes you shit your pants.
Yeah. He's downloading porn into mine. What the hell?
Shoot.
That's crazy. What's the next topic though? Anybody had the next topic?
So the DSC, Dollar Shave Club, apparently not a plug, not a sponsor, as they say. No, so this Democratic Socialist Convention, right? Did you guys watch that video? I mean, dude, like how soft are people getting? And I mean, this is from like I'm a realist. Like, how soft are people getting? I mean, you watch that video, and the first woman, I'm pretty sure it was a woman. She used her pronouns. It was like, I have an invisible disability. Didn't say what it was. Just said, I have an invisible disability. So what are you guys doing about that for me? And everybody's like, we're gonna try. And then the second guy comes up and he's like, I have no idea what we're talking about. And I just wanted everybody to know, I got no idea what's going on. Deuces. And it's just like, this is like real video from an actual like convention of people. Like, at some point, I think you just got to turn to your kids and tell them to shut the hell up when they're growing up. I mean, case in point, my son the other day for 30 minutes told me a story about 3 goats, a bridge, and a troll. Loved it. It was awesome. About 2 hours later, I don't know, the dog farted, he farted, I farted, somebody farted. I don't know. He comes up to me and he's like, I smell something. I think there's something wrong with my nose. And I'm like, nah, bro, your nose is working. Shut up. But I mean, how long till some, like, you just gotta, like, when they're kids, man, just like steer them off of this dumb crap.
I personally thought the video was hilarious. I didn't realize they were being serious until the very end. I even tagged a friend in the video. Luke, I thought you made a guest appearance.
Hey, what's going on?
As far as being sensitive or insensitive, I mean, if you're looking at somebody's plight and they have an invisible disorder, I would like to err on the side of being more sensitive to that person because I don't know what they're going through or currently going through.
I can't be. Because, I mean, it's building a culture. Like, our society is moving in a way right now where being a victim is, like, celebrated. Being a victim is, like, some heroic thing somehow out of nowhere. And, I mean, I spent 25 years of my life being a victim from, like, physical and emotional abuse, like, mental abuse. Like, I lived through that. And, dude, I couldn't even look in the mirror because I hated who I was. And, like, these people are getting emboldened on this stuff. Like, they're doing such a good thing by telling people and still living in this world. And, I mean, I don't know.
I believe there's a mechanism called, the group mentality, where the mob mentality, where people have a common concept. Say, for instance, that let's say not playing video games is the cool thing to do for parenting right now. If you let your kids play video games, you're a bad parent. So everybody kind of like groups around this thing and makes it an outlaw for, or you're a bad parent if your kid's playing video games. Well, when that happens, man, when that happens, we don't really put thought into the parenting process. What we do is just mimic what somebody else is doing instead of, like parenting our own child individually. We end up harming them. We don't bring out that bright spot in them, that passion that they have. We teach them just to do it.
So do you believe, like, if your child comes up to you and saying, because if you got a big influence around people, like you said, they can believe that you're doing something wrong just because that influence is saying, no, this is the right thing to do. But if you're a parent and you tell them opposite, let me give an example. Let's say whooping your child. Okay, if you're whooping your child, the big around that nowadays is that's bad, right? But let's say you do whoop your child. How would you because if a child comes to you and they find out like, oh, you ain't supposed to whoop me, or this is a bad thing to do, or this is abuse, how would that conversation go?
I mean, I think it's something like, it's the energy you give off, really. Because, I mean, a kid can turn on a computer and find anything you're doing wrong. Anywhere they go, I mean, you could tell them to be nice to people. They could find a website that tells them that that's the wrong thing to do these days. So, I mean, really just...
Oops. My bad.
So now that I'm dying, no, I mean, like, it's just instilling your values. I mean, if you love your kid and you show it, I mean, I can't imagine they're going to be inclined to be like, I'm going to go tell somebody what you're doing to me or something. Because, I mean, I discipline my son in my own way that I believe. But, I mean, he knows why I'm doing it. Like, anything I do, like when I take his tablet, anything. Like, he knows why. And I even tell him. Like, I mean, he's 6 years old, but I try to talk to him a little more ahead, I guess. I mean, like, I don't want to do this, man. Like, I really don't. But you don't give me a choice here.
So,
You know, I kind of agree with Jeff what he was saying with you don't know what anybody's going through at any time, so that might be the way that they get it off their chest, because that's the only place they feel safe with it. And if that's what they got to do, then so be it. I mean, we can still say it looks and sounds ridiculous, but I don't have any hate for them going out there and blowing off steam in their own way, as long as they're not forcing me to try to watch it, because I'm not going to.
I said I don't have hate necessarily. I just have no sympathy because I got out of it. And I mean, I'm not the strongest person in the world. If I can do it, anybody can do it. I mean, demons are still there. I mean, they come out and play sometimes, but you just got to keep them in that closet,
You said celebrating victims. How does that take place? When you see that, what do you see when they're celebrating?
I see weakness.
I mean, what is actually happening when you say celebrating? Like, what are you seeing?
It's just,
how do you celebrate a victim is what I'm asking.
Because they get these news coverages, and you get all these people coming out, especially in like the comments or like the media, and they're just saying how brave they are for sharing their story, but they're still living in that. They're still living the role of the victim instead of just getting past it. And I mean, all these people showing their support and all that, it's only emboldening them to stay where they are, because now they feel like they have a cheering section. Well, why get past it if you can just live in it?
So
you're basically talking about the people. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead. You got it. Hey.
I was just going to ask if he was talking about the people that are overplaying their plights or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that's
their situations, if they're overplaying it.
Because I mean, it's just like that chick who was talking about an invisible disability. I mean, that could be she stubbed her toe and thinks she walks different, or it could be like something like.
Well, I said it to my wife, and she said, when I said it to my wife, she turned and looked at me and said, "Well, I have to wear glasses, and if I have contacts in and one of them falls out and I can't see, nobody knows that, so that's an invisible disability." So she made me feel like an ass when I was trying to make fun of it too right then.
Boom! Or agoraphobia.
I guess so.
There's a lot of different phobias that go around out there that people battle with internally. I mean, it is. I mean, we never know when you look at a person's face if they're dying inside. Like I said, we had a low energy week this week, and if you're looking at me, you probably wouldn't know, or maybe you would. I don't know. But it's not on me. It's not in me to go outside and say, "Yo, I'm having a tough day, man. Do something to make me happy," because I don't feel like that's somebody else's job. But when you say celebrating victims, I feel like that's what they are doing, or I believe that's what you feel like they're doing. They want somebody to go out there and dedicate their own time to, kind of celebrate their plight. And again, man, if it doesn't cost me anything to uplift somebody, then let's do it. That's where I land on that.
We just got different views.
That convention, though, was something different. I still don't know why they were doing what they were doing there.
Yeah, it's like Sorry, go ahead, man.
Who was saying something?
Jalen? No?
I didn't say that. I gotta ask you a question, man. Look, I guess we all sort of saying that we should, I guess were you, Brandon, saying that we should try to stop the actions that are going on there and try to, I guess, grow past it, like bring them out of it, use compassion, and sort of push it in a different direction, not encouraging them to sit there, but to admit there's a problem and move forward. Is that what you're sort of trying to say? That we shouldn't lift them up while they're admit, hey, there's a problem? Because I think of an invisible disability, if I heard that, I know it's not relevant, but mental illnesses are all invisible. So you never know it, but that's on a different note altogether.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like me with depression. I mean, I deal with that sometimes, but I mean, I'm not saying to be completely heartless. I'm just saying, from my personal opinion, I've just got no sympathy for it because I pulled myself out. So I mean, if you just wallow in it, I got
So
no sympathy for it.
are you saying you don't got no sympathy just right off the bat, or if they just keep being in that same space?
They just keep being in the same space.
Okay.
Because then it looks more like they want attention more than anything else.
It's impossible to know if that's the case,
And-
though. It really is. I mean,
True.
we're looking at people on TV. We're looking at people on a magazine cover. This might be a poster board child that's going to help other victims come forward or help deal with whatever struggles they're having. I mean, some people don't even know they have mental diseases. They just feel like everybody else is just like them and they're suffering.
Until they say the right thing to the right person, and then boom, then they
Yeah,
realize
too, and I
what's
was-
going on.
Yeah. And now they're, successful, know how to deal with it, or know how to remove themselves from a negative environment. You don't know your husband is a a-hole until you meet somebody else's husband that's sweet and loving and caring and kind and hugs on them and kisses them, calls them babe, and doesn't talk to them passive aggressively, all that good stuff, man. There's guys out there that treat their women like queens.
You just described to me 8 different
And-
ways.
Most of the guys that do that I know
I
are
had you
getting
in
some
mind.
action on the side.
Beta.
Just saying.
Beta.
Just saying.
And
I mean, hey. Now, but for me, I think thinking of this topic, I think I do give empathy to the people, that's going through it. But like you said, there are things that you can do to help push that person out of that situation. But sometimes it is kind of hard to push somebody out of that situation because it is up to them. But I mean, I agree to a certain extent that if you are in that situation, if you continue to be in that situation and there, you didn't get do any steps to move forward, then there's a certain point where I'm like, what else can I do for you? Or what else is there anybody else to do for you? Because, there's so much that you can do. It's all up to the person for me. So
Kind of like a drug addict, in a sense.
I was about to bring up my buddy Ryan. He was in rehab 3-4 times when he lived here. He finally moved away, and it seemed to fix it when he got away from everybody that was enabling him. But I remember him calling me and leaving me a nasty voicemail the second time he came back, and he was mad that I didn't want to help him anymore. But I told him until he was willing to help himself and get away from everybody, I was tired of helping him.
I'll end this
Especially
one
when
with saying,
he lied to me in one of them. He lied to me in one of them about he said he needed some money so his daughter didn't get kicked out of daycare, and then I found out he turned around and bought drugs with it, and yeah, that was the end of the line for me. So
can't blame you on that. But I don't know. I feel like we washed this one up. I'll just end it with saying, I mean, if you label yourself a victim and you live that way, that's all you're ever going to be.
Okay.
Harsh, maybe,
All right.
but
So I'm hoping my internet does, because it's been cutting in and out a lot. I'm hoping I hold strong. So I through my young life, I was haunted by a pretty big demon, and it was the whole reason I kept it was, I was afraid of what everybody thought of me, and I had no confidence in myself because we were poor growing up. I mean, I had nothing. We didn't have anything compared to all of my friends. I mean, we had food every day, but as a kid, you don't really see that. So, I lied like crazy all the time growing up. I mean, lied about stupid things like having a dirt bike or, just idiotic stuff. And one day I had, one of my best friends tell me that, he made a comment about me doing something, and I was like, yeah, sure, let's go. And he was like, nah, you're full of shit. I don't even know why I asked you. We don't believe you for anything. And that hit me like a ton of bricks because I just had my son, and you know, it really sent me down a path of me thinking, like, is this the example I want to lead for him? And, you know, I'd hate to feel that every time I talk to a friend, that's what they thought of me. So I had to work really hard to get out of that. And there's still times where I'm talking to somebody and that pops into my head and it's like, tell him this. I'm like, got to fight it off. But, you know, it really, when I saw that video of Tom Hardy and him talking about, you know, alcoholism and one of them, I don't think it was that exact one. That was kind of one that grouped all the videos I'd seen on him. But, you know, it showed how he overcame it and how he still struggled with it. And the more he talked about it, and it seemed like the same for me, the more I talked about struggling with it, you know, because like I said, I wasn't proud of where I came from when I should have been, because, you know, my parents worked hard for everything. So, and they put some good values in me. And I just, you know, once I went away from really thinking about, you know, thinking in the way of, do I really care what everybody thinks about me, instead of just being me and accepting who I am? And, you know, I can get whatever I want by working hard. And, you know, it really, I felt like I really turned a corner in my own happiness, because, you know, like Brandon was talking about depression, I struggled from it a lot growing up, just because, like I said, we were dirt poor. We didn't have anything. Like, all my friends had all this extra stuff, and I had nothing except the clothes on my back and a full belly, which is, you know, something to be grateful for. But, you know, seeing how he handled stuff, and, you know, he seemed to be going through a similar journey with a different demon. You know, it was pretty neat to see. So,
Yo.
is there a demon you all have that you all are currently fighting or have fought and conquered? And what'd you do to overcome it?
I 100% feel you on what you said. Like, for the longest, I struggle with telling people the truth of what's really going on. I always try to do like the big facade, the stories and stuff. Don't ever let people into my real self. Like, I'm a introvert extrovert. Like, when I'm around people, I'm the biggest clown. I try to make people laugh. You know, I always try to be the center of attention, but I don't really ever tell anybody what's going on, and it's mainly because sometimes I don't like me. Most of the time I don't like who I am, so I try to be the best person anyone needs me to be. This is something, and I've gotten, over the years, I've gotten happier being myself, and I realize that people like me more when I'm me, because, you know, no one likes being around people who aren't themselves. So I 100%.
Yeah, we hear it all the time. We don't like the fake girl. We hear it all the time. We don't like the fake person. You hear it all the time. So,
Well, I mean, since I was talking about mine earlier, I mean, yeah, that affected me too. Like, because I wasn't trying to go overboard like you, per se. I was trying to just, it's like that video said, I wasn't being authentic at all. I was just saying, like, when they were talking about the one-sided, like, tryouts, more or less, that's all I did for the longest time, because I was just afraid, like, everyone was looking at me, like, judging me all the time, even though nobody's looking at me. And it's just something that came, like, when I decided to change who I was years ago and just embrace who I am, more or less. Not care, I guess. But I don't know. I mean, it's hard. But like I said, that video rang true.
yeah,
me.
there was a part in one of them. There was a part in one of them where it was talking about you have all these conversations in your head, and, you know, you're hearing what all these other people are thinking, when none of that crap's true. Not any of it's true. You're making it all up, and
it's exactly
it was tough to get over with.
Yeah, I know the feeling. Like, I had well, mine was sort of, it's a bad one. I guess I lied too, and mine was with, I guess, our relationships, and it was like one thing we referred to about who's paying for stuff. So I guess I didn't. I showed that I could afford more than I could, which in a sense it affected how I viewed a relationship because I always had a question in my mind because I always put money out there and I was like, does she really like me or does she like what I can do for her? Which wasn't the case, but the way that I portrayed the situation and the way I handled it, that's a question that was always in my mind. And me not being upfront with how things were about like I think that sort of it's been something that I'm having to work on, like you all. Like I'm trying to be more, I guess, up front, not take on more than I can actually bear. It's tricky.
I feel like you guys are all reading pages out of my book too. I mean, every one of you guys has said something that I've battled with, even to the point where we try to become more people. When you said no hat challenge this week, I thought to myself, that's kind of how I view like becoming characters for people to make them happy. So, I ain't no hat. I'm gonna be myself today. I'm just gonna be that rare version of me that's kind of quirky and kind of fun and kind of dumb at the same time. But growing up, you don't feel comfortable being your real self. You wonder why though, because the people that you interact with, the people that you surround yourself with, don't encourage you to be your real self. Don't encourage you to be the person that you are. Don't even inquire about who you are. You don't get to inquire about who you are till you are alone in your house in your own place for the first time. You're sitting alone and wonder, well, who am I going to please now? And the person that you're sitting in the room with is a person that you never met before. So you look into yourself for the first time and start to understand why you've always been in pursuit of something and never had the actual happiness. You've seen it. You saw other people have it and you shared it with them, but you never really truly embraced it. That's where, that's where my journey has taken me. I mean, I've met individuals like Ramsey in my life that taught me the value of having individuals in my life that's outside of my family. I always thought of people having a price tag on them. Like, if I can't do something from this guy, he's not going to look out for me. And then the first time I met Ramsey, man, he just was a true dude. I mean, like, just what he said is what he meant. He took the extra energy to come to me to explain the situation to me and show me that, this is just how this is the normal life. This is how people operate. I was like, no, it's not. People want to see you fail so they can laugh and be entertained. But meeting individuals like that and being able to explore yourself and giving that safe haven, that safe space to be able to say, you know what, this is me. Look at me.
Yeah, I mean, if I look at it now, I did go to a similar situation, a while back, but I would say stuff that I did, stuff that I took risk on, kind of helped me out with that. So I've been like, before we started like actually being in like social media, it was kind of like I don't know if I want to see myself on the camera or hear or listen to me play back or my voice or whatever. But then I was like, man, let me go ahead and take this risk just to see what it would be like, But now that I look at it, it kind of helped me out to like give me that confidence to actually do other things too. Like I'm not afraid, to be on the camera. I'm not afraid to talk to other people. I'm very open now than I was back then. So I think it does go through how we was, going through puberty, going to high school, going to stuff like that to focus on our image because that was a big thing, I guess, in high school. But it kind of, be in our lives now. But I look at it now as like I just be myself. I got more confidence just to be on camera, just to do that, just to do things, step out there, take risks. It kind of put me in a mind state of like I'm really being myself instead of trying to act like I don't care if you don't like hiking. I'm still post like I like hiking because that's what I do. Um, I don't, if nobody likes that, then I'm still post it because I enjoy that. So it just, to me, it went through. It was like a life stage thing. I didn't get it up front, but more as I got older, I kind of feel like that other stuff didn't matter. So that's how I treat it now.
So it kind of poses the question. I mean, is the best, more or less, treatment for that is age? Because, I mean, time does heal everything, but it just seems like in every one of your stories, even mine, not Jalen because he's a baby. Nah, playing. But no, in every one of the stories, it was like, it was the older I got was a common theme. So, I mean, does that play the major role?
It's the right experience, being in the right condition.
I feel like
experience
losing.
and go ahead, Luke.
Oh, I was saying, for me, it was when I started losing who I was, like as a person. Like I couldn't remember who myself was, like because I knew who I was in high school. I was just pretending to be someone else to fit in, and then you pretend so long, and then you start forgetting who you really are. It's like that's when I started thinking about like how do I get to know who I really am as a person again? Like sometimes you got to ask yourself, what do you like to do? I don't know what I like to do, so I have to ask the people I used to hang out with and grew up with. Hey guys, what do I like to do? Now I'm on the podcast because I like to talk.
I think that does come with age, though, liking to talk.
Yeah.
I asked. I remember going to my dad and asking him for advice when I told him exactly what Stephen had said, and he took me. A lot of his lessons came from the Bible, and he took me straight to Jesus saying, "If you have ears to hear, let him hear." And he's like, if he's speaking the truth, you better listen. And he's like, so if it's true or not what he's saying to you, and if he is, then listen. So that I think it's listening to everybody that you love and that has your best interest at heart, and then also experience and time.
Experience. Wow.
That's a great way to segue into our last topic, which I believe we may actually push to our next podcast. The topic was alpha or sensitive guy, which it can go a lot of different ways. Man, I can go ahead and give you guys a grade as far as your alpha or passive, but I'm kind of wondering what the stigma was surrounding that, and political stance on it too. That the policies that are being created in the way that, kind of like you said, victims are out there. They're changing the climate of whether a guy can be aggressive or be a masculine man versus being a sensitive guy. But we come to a point now that I think we just go to the end, and we'll push at the next week. Where at what did I learn today? I learned that Luke likes to talk.
What I learned today is you guys are a lot deeper and more in touch with your feelings than you like to let on.
Oh,
hey, I'm not afraid to talk about anything about myself.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I didn't know. Some guys, man, they like the reserve. They don't want to talk about what's going on inside. They want to waste their time and not wash their minds. I didn't say that right.
They don't want to waste their minds, man. Come on now. What are you at?
I know. Come on, man.
That was a perfect plug, dude.
Take two.
There you go.
Now, I think it's very interesting. I learned about you don't think if you're coming to this podcast, you don't think like this will be like a mental, kind of like going into your mental health, until you actually realize that you're talking about serious situations. So that's what I learned today. Like, this podcast could be a mental health situation for others, just because I think venting or saying, situations that you went through, others went through it too. They might have a different conversation. They might have a different way that they came out of certain situations. So I think that's what I learned today is, a podcast can be like going towards mental health too.
Sure.
Any
Yes.
closing words? What did you learn? B?
Is everybody gone but me?
Yeah.
Des
No.
on out? Oh crap.
No.
No, I mean it's like Ann was saying. I just learning more about you guys every time. I feel like. I mean, known Jeff and Ramsey quite a while now, but I feel like every time we talk, just in this setting, I'm learning more about them. It's kind of nice.
One day I'll cry on camera.
Yeah.
I learned a couple of things. I learned that Jeff and Brandon can't pronounce words correctly. I learned that Jeff does actually love me, so that's good. And
I like how you got a call out, not me, by the way. It's all good. Did you hear that, Luke? Did you hear that?
Brandon
When he
can go
was
to
like,
hell.
I brought Aaron
That's
in
the last part.
from outside the family, but I'm like, oh.
All in the
Hey.
family.
Family. Yes.
That's good.
Hey. Well, look,
I learned that I have a lot of fun doing this.
I do.
Honestly.
100%.
Right.
I wrote down questions that I didn't want to share with the group, but I'm going to show them for next week, and I'll share them in the chat. There was going to be a surprise, but
Fair
Are
enough.
you gonna take on the next 5?
no, I'm going to send them out. You can ask the question.
You got
So,
I'm just a personality. I don't have a voice. I start sweating even though I'm by myself.
you
My
asked the
palms are
question.
sweaty.
Come on.
Yeah, I got mild spaghetti all over my shirt, man.
did I miss Jalen? What he learned?
We did.
I told you what I learned. I learned that your son is a storyteller. I like that. I was like, wow, I like that.
Hey, that's Billy Goats, man, going across the bridge or something. It's awesome.
He's working on it. Hey, he should. But I learned that we're all getting over stuff, and we know how to work through stuff, man. Yeah. I have much.
Mm-hmm.
All right, gentlemen. Well, until next time, I'll see y'all then.
All right, guys, take it easy. Peace.
See y'all.